𝘚𝘉 was a 20-year-old girl who loved traveling. She enjoyed visiting new places and meeting different people. One day, she had a big dream: to visit London. London was a big city with many famous landmarks. Just thinking about her trip made 𝘚𝘉 very happy. When she was a child, 𝘚𝘉 loved looking at pictures of faraway cities. London was always her favorite. She dreamed of seeing Big Ben, Tower Bridge, and Buckingham Palace. These places made her feel excited. One day, 𝘚𝘉 talked to her best friend, Anna, about her dream. Anna said, "London is an amazing city with so much history and culture." Smiling, she added, "You should go, 𝘚𝘉. You are young and love adventures. This is the perfect time to explore the world." 𝘚𝘉 decided to make her dream come true. She felt a little nervous but also very excited and ready for the adventure. 𝘚𝘉 spent the next few days thinking about her trip. She imagined herself in London, standing in front of Buckingham Palace and exploring the British Museum. She knew planning the trip would take a lot of effort, but she was ready for the challenge. 𝘚𝘉's parents were very supportive. They understood her love for traveling and exploring new places. They encouraged her to be careful and enjoy her journey to the fullest. 𝘚𝘉 promised them she would plan everything well and stay safe. With her parents' encouragement, 𝘚𝘉 felt even more excited. This would be her first solo trip, and she wanted it to be perfect. She believed this adventure would help her grow as a person. 𝘚𝘉 got started by making a list of tasks. She needed to research London, decide which places to visit, book her flight and hotel, and prepare her documents. There was so much to do, but she was ready to get started. 𝘚𝘉 carefully planned her days in London. She created a schedule to make sure she could visit all the places she dreamed of. On the first day, she would see Big Ben and the Tower Bridge. On the second day, she planned to visit Buckingham Palace and Hyde Park. She also included the British Museum in her itinerary. 𝘚𝘉 wanted to make the most of her time and not miss anything important. Next, 𝘚𝘉 looked for a place to stay. She wanted somewhere safe, comfortable, and affordable. She spent time reading reviews and checking pictures of hotels and hostels. Finally, she found a nice hostel in central London that suited her needs. 𝘚𝘉 checked her passport to ensure it was valid and confirmed she didn't need a visa for her short stay in the UK. To stay prepared, she made copies of her passport, flight tickets, and hostel booking. She also created a budget for her trip, accounting for accommodation, food, transportation, and sightseeing. 𝘚𝘉 had been saving money from her part-time job, and she felt proud that she could fund her adventure on her own. 𝘚𝘉 didn't want to carry too much cash, so she got a travel card to use like a debit card in London. It was a safer and more convenient option for her. She also wanted to stay connected with her family and friends during her trip. After learning that international roaming was expensive, she decided to buy a local SIM card in London. This would help her use the internet and make calls without spending too much money. To prepare for her trip, 𝘚𝘉 read about London's culture and customs. She learned about British manners and some common phrases, as she wanted to be polite and blend in. She even practiced saying a few British English words, which made her feel more confident. The night before her trip, 𝘚𝘉 was busy checking and rechecking everything. She carefully packed her bags, double-checked her documents, and placed everything by the door to ensure she wouldn't forget anything in the morning. The next morning, 𝘚𝘉 woke up early, feeling excited and a little nervous. She got dressed, had a quick breakfast, and grabbed her bags. Her parents drove her to the airport, giving her hugs and wishing her a safe and wonderful trip. The flight to London was long, but 𝘚𝘉 kept herself entertained. She read a book, listened to music, and watched a movie. When the plane began to descend, she looked out of the window and saw the city below. Her heart raced with excitement. She couldn't believe it, she was finally in London. After landing, Sarah took a taxi to her hostel. She gazed out of the window, marveling at the city's iconic landmarks along the way. When she arrived at the hostel, she checked in and found her room. It was small but cozy, and she liked it. She also met her roommates, who were travelers like her. They were friendly, and Sarah felt happy and excited to start her adventure in London. Sarah's roommates were friendly and shared their travel stories with her. She felt comfortable and excited to make new friends. On her first day in London, Sarah woke up early, full of excitement. She got dressed and had breakfast at the hostel. While eating, she spoke to some other travelers who gave her tips on where to go and what to see. Sarah decided to start her day by visiting Big Ben. She walked to the nearest bus stop, took a bus, and enjoyed the ride, looking at the city through the window. When she arrived, she saw the big clock tower. It was even more impressive than she had imagined. After that, she walked to the Tower Bridge. She took many pictures and enjoyed the stunning view. The bridge was so famous, and Sarah felt so happy to see it in person. Next, she visited Buckingham Palace. She saw the guards in their red uniforms and black hats and watched the changing of the guard ceremony. It was fascinating and fun to witness. To end her day, Sarah decided to visit Hyde Park. She walked around, taking in the fresh air and beautiful surroundings. The park was peaceful, and she felt grateful for the chance to experience London's beauty firsthand. Sarah sat on a bench in Hyde Park and watched people walking, jogging, and playing with their dogs. It was such a relaxing and peaceful place. For lunch, she went to a nearby cafe and tried a traditional British dish called fish and chips. It was delicious. She also had a cup of tea. Sarah loved trying new foods and learning about the local cuisine. After lunch, she visited the British Museum. She saw many fascinating exhibits and learned a lot about history. The museum was huge, and Sarah spent several hours exploring it. In the evening, she returned to her hostel, feeling tired but happy. She chatted with her roommates about her day. They shared their own travel experiences and gave her more tips for her trip. Sarah went to bed early so she could rest for the next day's adventures. She felt excited and grateful for her time in London. The next morning, Sarah decided to explore more of central London. She woke up early, had breakfast at the hostel, and planned her day. Her first stop was the London Eye. Sarah bought a ticket and got on the giant Ferris wheel. As it went up, she could see the entire city. The view from the top was incredible. She took lots of pictures to remember the moment. For lunch, Sarah went to Covent Garden, a busy area full of shops and cafes. She found a nice cafe, where she had a sandwich and a cup of coffee. She also enjoyed watching some talented street performers. After a fun day of sightseeing, Sarah returned to her hostel. She had seen and done so much in one day. She shared her adventures with her roommates, who also told her their stories and gave her more ideas for things to do in London. The next day, Sarah decided to try more British food and go shopping. Sarah began her day with a traditional English breakfast at a local cafe. It included eggs, bacon, sausages, beans, and toast. It was very filling and delicious. After breakfast, she went to Camden Market, a busy and colorful place with many stalls selling clothes, jewelry, and food. She enjoyed walking around and exploring all the unique items. Sarah bought some souvenirs and a new dress. Next, Sarah visited Borough Market, which had a variety of foods from all over the world. She tried some samples and bought a sandwich for lunch, along with a fresh fruit juice. The food was incredibly tasty. In the afternoon, Sarah went to Oxford Street, a famous shopping street full of big stores. She walked down the street, shopping for clothes, shoes, and gifts for her family and friends. She loved the lively atmosphere of the area. For dinner, Sarah went to a pub to try more traditional British food. She ordered shepherd's pie, which was very tasty. For dessert, she had sticky toffee pudding, a sweet and delicious treat. After dinner, Sarah walked back to her hostel, feeling very happy. She had tried many new foods and done a lot of shopping. The next day, Sarah decided to meet new people and make some friends. She started her day with breakfast at the hostel and talked to some other travelers about their plans. Sarah decided to join a walking tour of the city, which was a group tour led by a guide. Sarah met many other travelers on the tour. They were from different countries and spoke various languages. She enjoyed talking to them and learning about their cultures. The tour guide took them to many famous places, including the Tower of London, St. Paul's Cathedral, and the 𝘓𝘓. The guide shared interesting stories and facts about the city, and Sarah found the tour both fun and informative. After the tour, Sarah and some of the other travelers decided to have lunch together at a nearby cafe. They talked about their travels and exchanged contact information. Sarah was happy to make new friends who loved traveling just as much as she did. In the evening, Sarah attended a social event at the hostel, where they had a movie night. She watched the movie with other travelers and chatted with them about their adventures. Sarah made even more new friends and had a great time. The next day, Sarah decided to take a day trip outside of London. She wanted to explore more of England and see new places beyond the city. Sarah woke up early and had breakfast at the hostel. She packed a small bag with water, snacks, and her camera, then decided to visit Cambridge. She took a short, comfortable train ride from London to Cambridge, enjoying the view of the countryside from the window. Upon arriving in Cambridge, Sarah felt excited. She walked around the city, admiring the beautiful buildings and gardens. She visited the famous University of Cambridge, where she saw the old colleges and stunning libraries. The history and architecture inspired her deeply. In the afternoon, Sarah took a peaceful walk in the Botanic Garden, surrounded by many plants and flowers. She sat on a bench, enjoyed the fresh air, and relaxed for a while. In the evening, Sarah took the train back to London, feeling very happy and satisfied with her day trip. She had seen and learned so much. When she returned to her hostel, she shared her experience with her roommates, and they exchanged stories about their own trips. Sarah went to bed that night feeling content. She loved exploring new places and couldn't wait to take more day trips around England. During her trip, Sarah faced some challenges, but also enjoyed many fun moments. One day, she got lost while exploring the city. She couldn't find her way back to the hostel and felt a bit scared and worried. But she asked a kind local for help and found her way back. From that experience, she learned to always carry a map and ask for help when needed. Another challenge she faced was the unpredictable weather. One day, it rained heavily, and Sarah didn't have an umbrella. She got completely soaked and felt cold and uncomfortable. While waiting for the rain to stop, she decided to continue her exploration once it cleared up. From that experience, she learned to always check the weather and be prepared. Sarah also had many fun and memorable moments. One day, she visited a famous bakery and tried a traditional British pastry called a scone. It was so delicious that she returned the next day for another one. Another highlight of her trip was when she went to a music festival in a park. She listened to live music, danced, and made many new friends. It was a very fun and happy day. Sarah also enjoyed visiting a local market, where she tried many different foods and bought some handmade crafts. She loved talking to the vendors and learning about their products, which made the experience even more interesting. She also went to a play, and the performance was amazing. She enjoyed the story and the acting, and it made her appreciate the art of theater even more. One of the challenges Sarah faced was navigating public transport. At first, she got on the wrong bus a few times. But with help from friendly locals and by paying close attention to the maps, she eventually figured it out. She felt proud of herself for learning how to get around a big city like London. One evening, Sarah joined a ghost tour, a nighttime adventure where they visited haunted places in London. The guide shared spooky stories about ghosts and mysteries. Sarah was a little scared but found it very exciting and fun. Sarah faced another challenge when she lost her phone on the tube. She was very worried and upset, but luckily, she found a helpful station staff member. They managed to locate her phone and return it to her, and Sarah felt incredibly relieved and grateful. One of the funniest moments was when Sarah tried speaking with a British accent. She practiced with her friends at the hostel, and they all had a good laugh. It was a fun way to enjoy the local culture. The next morning, Sarah woke up early to catch her flight home. She packed her bags, made sure she had all her documents, and checked out of the hostel. She took a taxi to the airport, looking out the window as the city passed by. She felt a mix of emotions, sad to leave, but happy for all the wonderful memories she had made. At the airport, Sarah checked in for her flight, went through security, and had some time to reflect on her journey. She bought some last-minute souvenirs for her family and friends to share a piece of London with them and tell them all about her adventures. When it was time to board the plane, Sarah felt excited to go home. She found her seat and settled in for the flight, ready to carry the memories of her amazing trip. As the plane took off, Sarah gazed out of the window, watching the city of London shrink into the distance. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the incredible journey she had just experienced. On her way home, she couldn't wait to share her stories. She told her family about the famous landmarks, the delicious food, and the amazing new friends she had made. They listened eagerly, excited to hear all about her adventures. When they got home, Sarah unpacked her bags and proudly showed them the souvenirs she had brought back. Her family was thrilled with the gifts and loved hearing more of her stories. Over the next few days, Sarah continued to share details of her trip. She showed her family the pictures she had taken and described the places she had visited. They were fascinated and very proud of her. Sarah felt so thankful for her supportive family, knowing that their encouragement had helped make her dream come true. She felt incredibly lucky to have them in her life. Sarah's trip to London had been everything she had hoped for. It was an unforgettable adventure, full of learning, growth, and happiness. Looking back, she felt blessed and grateful for the experience. She knew she had grown as a person, more confident and open to new experiences. Traveling had enriched her life in ways she never expected. Sarah's heart was filled with gratitude for the beautiful city of London and the amazing memories she had created. London would always hold a special place in her heart. Although Sarah's journey had come to an end, her love for travel had only grown stronger. She was excited about the future and all the adventures that awaited her. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.